From next year, every school will have to report on how it is tackling the problem.
Adam Voigt is a teacher who implements anti-bullying strategies in schools. Good morning to you. Now, what programs have you introduced that you find work the best?
I think the ones that we've found work the best are things like restorative practices, which we're using in the Northern Territory through the Building Relationships and School Wellbeing project.
What's that mean, restorative tactics?
Restorative practices are about restoring the harm in the relationships that has happened as a result of bullying incidents over a period of time. And what it does is it focuses the individual on the actual harm that they've caused and gets them involved and gets families and other kids and teachers, everybody that's affected by the incident, saying how it's affected them and to have an input into how the harm can be repaired.
And what about, I mean, often the focus is on the bully and on the victim. What about the other kids who stand around and watch? Because it's often more than just sort of 2 or 3 or 4 people involved in these practices, isn't it really?
Yeah, that's right. And one of the things that we're finding out is that as high as 85 or 88% of bullying incidents occur when there's an audience. It's very important for a bully a lot of the time to have an audience, and so that's one of the really big things these days is trying to increase the understanding in kids of bystander behaviour and how it's hugely important. And kids that come to us and say, I wasn't doing anything, I was just standing there, need to understand their place in the situation and that they have a responsibility to act in some way.
Adam, here at Sunrise, parents often complain that schools just aren't doing enough. Where can schools improve, in your view? What should they be doing?
One of the things that schools can do is tap into the National Safe Schools Framework, which has been rolled out recently, and schools will, like, as you said, Mel, have to report on how they're going under that into the future. And what they can do is start there and look for some of the resources and links that are there. But there's also other programs around. There was a new book launched yesterday called Bullying Solutions, which is a great resource for schools. There's the Bullying No Way website, which is a fantastic starting point for schools. And so there are options for schools in terms of trying to find a bullying program that works for them.
It's no excuse not to do anything now, is it?
No, it's time to act. This is a really serious social problem, and schools have a responsibility to do something positive about it. And a lot of them are doing some great stuff.
Adam, I was reading that Michael Carr-Gregg was talking about girls as being a major problem at the moment and how there's so many mean girls out there and being mean to others. Is that a growing trend, or has that always been the case?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think in the past perhaps we've been blind to it. The girls are a lot more hidden in the way they bully, and a lot more tend to focus more on psychological forms of bullying, and particularly these days with cyberbullying becoming an issue for us in using text messaging and emailing. That's something that the girls are using a lot more frequently, and we're becoming much more aware of it and looking for ways to stop it.
Can you reform a bully?
Yeah, definitely. And one of the things that we're trying to do these days is try to make sure that we're not even talking about anti-bullying processes. That sort of gives us the idea that we're up against an enemy, and we're not. We're about engineering a change in behaviour, and that's very possible with kids once they understand what their behaviour does and how it makes people feel.
Wow.
Look, so glad that the conference took place on the weekend, Adam. Obviously, there is so much that needs to be done because, as I said, every time we mention this, we're inundated with stories on the soapbox. So we wish you and everybody else that attended it all the best, and I'm sure we'll hear a lot more to come on how it all rolls out. So thanks, Adam, for joining us.
No problem.
What an impressive bloke, and very positive about what you can do, isn't it? Which is terrific. Yeah,
exactly. Call it anti-bullying and you're up against an enemy and look at it differently, because something has to be... I'm just so amazed how many emails and SMS we get from people that are affected by this, so it's obviously a lot bigger than I think a lot of people realise.
And if it's a problem in your school, as Adam was saying, it should not be an issue. There are plenty of resources.